96% of the unchurched are at least somewhat likely to attend church if they are invited. Now, let that stat just sort of settle in just for a moment, okay? 96% of the unchurched, those that aren't going to church, that would be the what? 200,000 right here in Stark County. 96% are at least somewhat likely to attend church if they are invited. Can I say it to you in another way? Here's another way to say it. Put it up there so I can read it. All right. More than 9 out of 10 people would most likely attend church if they were simply invited. Right? If 96%, that'd be more than 9 out of 10 people would most likely attend church if they were simply invited. Now, do you realize that there are an estimated 160 million people in the United States that are classified as unchurched? 160 million of the population in the United States are classified as unchurched. Now, let me define for you what unchurched means. By unchurched, we mean that they have only attended church 2 times or less in the last year. All right? They have attended church 2 times or less in the last year. So, if the research is right, the research that Thom Rainer gives us, 153.6 million out of the 160 million unchurched people would most likely come to church if they were just simply invited. Now, let's move that stat a little bit closer to home. Out of the 200,000 unchurched people in Stark County, 192,000 of them would be more likely or most likely to come to church this Easter if we would just simply invite them. You say, I don't know about those stats. Those stats might be off. All right, let's say those stats are off. Let's say Thom Rainer really got it all messed up, all right? And the stats are just messed up. And let's say, for sake of argument, the stats are off and only half, not 96%, let's say 50% of the people invited would most likely come to church. That would still be 100,000 people. Now, here's what I really want you to think about. Tens of thousands of people right here in Stark County are waiting for one of us to invite them to church. If you've been listening to all the stats I've been giving you so far, if 96% are most likely to come to church if they were invited, that means that they are waiting to be invited. Are you with me? They're waiting on someone to invite them to come to church. And so tens of thousands of people right here in our Jerusalem, our immediate mission field, Stark County, they're waiting for one of us to invite them to church. Here's the sad reality. Here's the sad reality. Only 2%. Only 2%, this is another Thom Rainer stat, only 2% of church members ever invite an unchurched person to church. I don't know about you, but that stat alarms me. It scares me about the future of the church. Because it's saying that the vast majority of Christians sitting in pews of Bible-believing churches all across America are not inviting others to come to their church. Do you know what the number one reason why church members don't invite others to church? The research shows that the average church member says this: I just don't think about it. I just don't think about it. In other words, we'll go to work tomorrow, we won't think about it. We'll rub shoulders with our neighbors tomorrow, and we won't think about it. We'll talk with lost family members, and we won't think about it. We'll go to school, and we'll see other students that we go to class with hours and hours every week, and we won't think about it. We don't think about inviting others to come to church. Now, nearly all of us have contact with unchurched people every week, if not every day. We go to school with them, we work with them, we live beside them, and sometimes we even live with them. But for some reason, even though we rub shoulders with them day in and day out, we never think about inviting them to church.